Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine, guys. Really great to have you here again, you absolute legends, guys. Please, before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, all that cliche stuff. Really appreciate everyone who has joined me this morning. As always, of course, guys, let's get into some Man United news, shall we? There is always news against Man United. Don't you worry. There's always news, even during the international break. In fact, there's more news about Man United during the international break than any time in a year. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say. Now, look, I say a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned a player, right? Now, everyone is starting to mention that player. We've been here before, haven't we? The player's name is João Gomes. I mentioned him a few weeks ago on the channel. Those who are here will know that I mentioned him before the journalists and other content creators started mentioning João Gomes, of course, who plays for Wolves. Now, João Gomes is a 24-year-old Brazilian, of course, very talented player who can play in the midfield position, CDM and central midfield position. He's another player who signed for Wolves. Wolves have a great scouting network. I don't know what you think about it, but I think Wolves have a great scouting network. They bring these Brazilians, Argentinians, whatever, into their team and from nowhere, and they always seem to be great, just like Cunha, of course, guys, as you know. But yes, João Gomes is a player that Man United are incredibly interested in. João Gomes will cost around 40 million euros, though. And he is quite, I mean, it's not going to break the bank, but it is still a relative amount of money, considering January is a little bit of a iffy kind of period when it comes to Manchester United in general. Now, we can't just ignore the January transfer window. There was rumours circulating yesterday from Sky Sports anyway, that Man United are not going to do any deals in January. Now, I beg to differ. I do believe Man United will do deals. Man United have to do deals. Man City will do deals. Chelsea will do deals. Liverpool will do deals. There are deals to be made. And if we allow those teams to get a further march on us, what is the point? What is the point? We need to go out there, and I'm not saying that we have to splash 100 million just like on Anderson, Adam Wharton and stuff. I'm not saying that we have to splash 100 million on these players. Absolutely not. What I'm talking about is that we can get a player that is relatively talented, right? I.e. João Gomes, bring him into the squad, right? In that midfield, CDM position. And then in the summer, we can buy another player, another midfielder who's probably valued at more. Then you'll all of a sudden have two midfielders in there to play with. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what I think Man United should do. Man United should prepare in January, because I don't want to be hearing lies. I really don't. I don't want to be hearing lies about, how we're going to do this in the summer. We're going to do that in the summer. I don't want to hear about it. We've had enough of that. What we have to do, we have to back Ruben Amorim. It is the AFCON until the 21st of January. We have to back Ruben Amorim and ensure that he has the best opportunity possible in becoming successful this season. Bringing in players, i.e. João Gomes, will be an absolute brilliant piece of business, in my opinion, guys. I don't know what you think about that, but news is circulating around that. Obviously, did mention it 2 weeks ago on Chatterboxer, if you remember, guys. So, look, I think he's a great midfielder, and I think he'd be a great addition to the team, and will help us going forward, in particular, the AFCON. When the AFCON is on, of course, guys, absolutely. Now, another player, guys, that Man United are looking at the moment. And this player we've looked at before. We have looked at him before. His name is Takefusa Kubo. He is Kubo for sure. He plays for Real Sociedad. You may remember a few years ago, a couple of years ago, we played at Real Sociedad, and I think he was injured in one of the games, but we were very highly linked with Kubo. Now, Kubo has had interest from the likes of Tottenham. Tottenham are interested in Kubo. Tottenham want to make a January move for Kubo. Now, Kubo can play as a right wing, left wing, and an attacking midfielder, so he would fit the bill perfectly. It would fit the bill perfectly, considering the AFCON is on, of course, and we need more attacking prowesses on the right-hand side of our pitch, considering Mazraoui, Ahmad, and Bremo are going to be on international duty, of course, with in the AFCON nations. But what I would say is that Kubo would cost around 30 million euros. He's valued at around 30 million euros. Not that much, not as much as we first thought it would be. I mean, I know a year ago, was it 2 years ago, it was valued about 50, 60 million. That has gone down to 30 million for whatever reason. That has gone down. And he would mark a good signing for Man United, in my opinion, in January, if that is an option, because he can play in the left wing. He could play on the right wing. He's experienced. He plays around Sociedad in La Liga. He's a good player. Of course, Japanese international, of course, and he can play as an attacking midfielder as well. So whilst Mbeumo and Ahmed and Mazraoui leave the club for the AFCON, we can have a player like Kubo and he can fit right into the team. We can't allow teams like Tottenham to steal a march on us. Right, they're going to go out there and they're going to spend money. We can't just say, oh, well, you know, the market's dead and blah, 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 the market's dead. We have to go out there and make sure that we do business in January, because if not, we're going to fall further behind. You don't think that these teams in the top 10 of the Premier League right now are not thinking about January? Of course they're thinking about January. They're thinking about January. They're thinking about, yeah, we need to get some players in there to solidify our place in the top 5. Exactly what we're thinking. So why are we waiting around? We got to make a move. Manchester City did it successfully. Chelsea do it successfully. Arsenal do it successfully. We need to start doing it successfully as well, because at the end of the day, I can only think of one real big signing that we've done in January, which was Bruno Fernandes a few years ago. Of course, we did sign Patrick Dorgu last January, but he was an upcoming player that is not ready, to be honest, if you're being totally honest with ourselves, of course, guys. Absolutely. Now, let me take it back, way back into time. You all remember this name. You all remember, I'm scrolling way back, guys. His name's Thomas Meunier. Now, look, I know, guys, you're going to think, oh, my God, Thomas Meunier, how old is he? 60? Blah, blah, blah. Look, Thomas Meunier is obviously 34 years old, and he's currently playing for Lille in France. We all know Thomas Meunier, almost 100 caps for Belgium, of course, you know, right back, right wing back, who Man United were very, very interested in a few years ago. You know what? 2018 call, they want their rumour back. We're not having your rumour back. Well, we're going to have your rumour back. But Manchester United are interested in bringing Thomas Meunier into the Football Club on loan in January to cover for that right position, guys. Now, whatever you think about this, I don't mind if it is like a backup player for the team. I actually feel that he's still better than Dalot. Guys, I do. Even though he's 34, I still believe that he's better than Dalot, in my opinion. But Thomas Meunier, right back, right midfield, will fit the mold perfectly on that right wing back position. He would do it perfectly, and he would also add an element of experience. Now, the key for Man United at the moment, this season in particular, is to get in those Champions League positions, and then we can start integrating more youngsters into the team slowly but surely. It's all about bringing the youngsters into a solid and positive environment. That's what it's all about. And I feel that is what Ruben Amorim is trying to do, trying to build a positive environment, trying to build an environment where it is better for those young players to come into the football club, come into the football team, rather than coming in now when it's going to be difficult. There's a little bit of negativity going around and stuff like that, of course. So I do believe that he's trying to build something. And then when we get success, when we qualify for the Champions League, and I do say when we do qualify for the Champions League, then we can start integrating these youngsters into the team. But Meunier valued at 2 million euros only, of course, guys. You know, he is past his best. We know that. But at the end of the day, footballers do go on these days. They go on to 40 years old these days. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo and other players like that. Chicharito scored a goal yesterday at 37 years old, guys. So listen, Chicharito, the little P, you know what I mean? Manchester United legend, I would say, scored a goal yesterday at 37 years old. So what I would say is that I don't think it would be a bad move on loan. I don't think it would be a bad move on loan. And I'm pretty sure that Meunier would want to sign for Man United in the Premier League. A good opportunity for him to play in the Premier League. Of course, a good experience and stuff like that, of course, to have. Of course, guys, let me just say good morning to the legend. That is Tyborg. What's going on, Tyborg? How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone is blessed in the stream, guys, and big up all the members, the guys who support the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you all. Absolutely. But what are your thoughts? There is a lot of names coming out of Man United. We are gearing up to the January transfer window, of course, guys. There's a lot of rumors circulating at the moment in regards to January transfer window. But I do find it funny that the João Gomes rumor come out after I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. I do find that incredibly funny. But you know what? I'm not here for props. I'm here for facts. And that's what I'm here for. Absolutely. Let me just read through some of your comments. I hope you're all doing well. Big up everyone in the stream. Big up Ellen. I don't know if you're here or someone else, but big up yourself. I know you got in early. Big up Ellen. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Prince. How you doing? Good morning, Sal. And all the family, Man United. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well, Prince. Good to see you, mate. Big up Sanjay. Glazers out all day long. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well as well. On the away to kindly click on the like button. Thank you for clicking the like, my friend. Guys, 50 likes before the end of the show. Every single time it's breaking dawn. 50 likes before the end of the show, guys. That's what it's all about. Big up, Ellen. Big up. Good morning to you. Good morning. Wolverhampton and Brighton have good scouts network. They do. You have to admit. I mean, where do they find these players from? I mean, obviously, Wolves have had Cunha in the past, Neto in the past as well. Other players, Diego Jota, God rest his soul, as well. They've had great players, and they have a great scouting network. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and obviously got Cunha from Wolves. So where are they finding these diamonds? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, obviously great scouting. It's something that we miss. I do think that we miss, and I do think that we missed. We don't give chances to these kind of players. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Absolutely. Good morning, Ephraim. How you doing, you legend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, Sal. Joe Gomes is a good player. He's a leader also, and this is the type of exactly you say it there. Absolutely spot on there, Ephraim. He's got that mentality. He's got that mentality, that Cunha mentality, that Mbeumo mentality, that winning, that grit. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call it the street footballer, but he's got that background to him. Like, you know what? A fight for the badge, that sort of thing. And I think that we've been missing this over the last few years. And I think that these kind of players is the thing that we need. And if we brought in João Gomes, I don't think it would be a bad idea. Look, guys, bringing in João Gomes, for example, you can bring in João Gomes now, or you can bring in a Conor Gallagher now. Right. And then in the summer, you can buy another midfielder. By the time you know it, you've got two midfielders there, right? Capable midfielders. And you could spend big on the midfielder in the summer. That's what we can do. We can bring on the likes of Stiller, Anderson, or Adam Wharton. We can do that, or even Carlos Baleba if push comes to shove, of course. So, look, at the end of the day, look, I wouldn't be opposed to a move for João Gomes. I wouldn't be opposed to a move for Conor Gallagher either. I think it will help us. Of course, it will help us in this season, of course, and of course the AFCON is on as well. Good morning, Sam. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning. United should sign him because he needs midfielders. Casemiro can't do it alone. I agree there, Joe. Not Joe, Sam. I agree there, Joe. Why did I say it twice? I agree there, Sam. João Gomes will be an absolute brilliant signing for Man United in January. It would be. I don't think we can complain about that. Only 24 years old, capabilities. He's got a ceiling. You know what I mean? He knows Cunha. So at the end of the day, I think that will be a good signing for Manchester United. I really do think so. Whether we do it or not, let's play it by ear. 40 million euros will Man United make the move. I think they should. I don't think we should rest on our laurels because I know what the Ineos are going to do. I know what the Glazers are going to do. What they're going to do is going to say, no, we're going to wait till the summer. Let's wait till the summer. Let's wait till the summer comes. That's what they're going to do. But we don't want to wait till the summer. We need to get on with it now because other teams are going to purchase players in January and we're just going to fall further behind. Absolutely. Big up, Sam. Ephraim, Sal, do you give Casemiro a new contract? No, I would not. I would not give Casemiro a new contract. Absolutely not. It's no way. I'm glad our goals off or taking corners have improved compared to the previous. Yeah, look, there was a period in time when Man United were not scoring any goal corners, and I agree. I think we have improved quite significantly in corners. Of course, we're scoring more. Sal, can you? What do you think of the improve? What do you think need to improve? Midfield, mate. Midfield wing backs. That's it. Simple as that. With midfield wing backs, that's what needs to improve at Man United. If Man United fix their midfield, you're going to see a lot more goals from Man United. You're going to see, if Man United fix their wing back positions, you're going to see a lot more creativity and crosses from there. Absolutely. That's what I would say. Man like Sal, man like Jengas. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, Jengas. Good to see you. Big up, Tybo. What's up? I'm not sure if we will do it, but we do need one or two players in January. Those signings could immensely improve our chances of doing. Absolutely. This is what the whole thing is, isn't it, Tybo? The most important thing for Manchester United is to have the best opportunity possible in qualifying for Europe. After we qualify for Europe, if we qualify for the Champions League, fantastic. After we qualify for the Champions League, then we're going to attract better players. We're going to have more money, number one, and we're going to attract better players. Because as I said yesterday, for example, let's give an argument example, hypothetically speaking. Mark Gui is going on a free transfer at the end of the season. So Man United would love to sign Mark Gui, right? They would love to sign Mark Gui. But why would Mark Gui go to Manchester United if we're not in Europe? This is the thing. It's so important for Manchester United to qualify for the Champions League. It's imperative that Man United qualify for the Champions League. We cannot keep missing out on European competition. Absolutely. Sam, our midfield is the biggest problem. I agree. Absolutely. Big up Kevin Donovan. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. How much would it cost? About 30 to 40 million euros, my guy. That's how much. Why are we giving a new deal, Casemiro, Sal? I don't believe it until I see it. I wouldn't give a new deal to Casemiro. Absolutely not. Are we crazy? Are we crazy? Is he crazy? I wouldn't give a new deal to Casemiro. Absolutely not. Casemiro, the ship sailed on that one a long time ago. He's earning 300,000 a week. Why are we going to give him another contract? It's absolutely absurd if we do. Cengiz, Birdie would be a bargain for 40 million. Miles better than Gallagher. I don't think about Miles better than Gallagher, mate, because he plays in the French league. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Gallagher's proven at international level. He's proven in England. He's proven it in Spain as well. Done relatively well at Atletico Madrid at initial stages anyway. I don't think he's... what we have to understand about players like Birdie, they've got potential. That's what it is. He plays in France. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Players like Gomes are playing in England, and that's what Man United are looking for at the moment. Players are Premier League proven. Not saying that Boadi won't be a fantastic signing. He would be a fantastic signing, but it does represent a risk. Conor Gallagher wouldn't represent a risk, and it would be a short-term deal. It wouldn't be a permanent deal. It would be a loan deal for Conor Gallagher, of course. So we have to look at that. I mean, there was a lot of hype about the new name, Boadi. He's a new man, new kid off the block. I've been mentioning him for months. But the thing is, he's not proven in the Premier League. And to say he's miles better than Gallagher is subjective. It's not true, is it? It's not facts, because at the end of the day, would Boadi get an England team? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there you go. And Conor Gallagher has. Now, Conor Gallagher is not a fashionable signing. He's not a popular signing because a lot of people want to look at Conor Gallagher and think, oh, you're not going to have the name Gallagher at the back of your shirt. And I know that. But what Man United are doing, they're looking for a stopgap at the end of the day. But Boadi's got a huge potential. Higher ceiling, absolutely. And I'd hope we sign him. But I don't think that deal is going to be done. And I wouldn't completely dismiss Conor Gallagher. Absolutely not. Not at the, no way. Because he knows the Premier League. He would fit into that central midfield role perfectly. Coming from France to Man United in the cesspit, we might as well bring through a youngster, isn't it, at the end of the day? Morning, Donovan. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up Cengiz, by the way. Morning, Sal. Morning, guys. Really think we need to buy January if we want to secure a Champions League spot, CDM and left wing back minimum requirements. Absolutely. Donovan, big up, Donovan. Hope you're doing well. I agree with that. Bruno Maggi, big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Prince. Manchester United strength has been signed real gems like Ronaldo, Chicharito, and Rooney. Back in the days, mate. Back in the days, it was good back then. But let's not forget that back then there was more winners in that team. There was more winners in that squad. There was a better atmosphere, a better environment in that squad. Young players coming into this squad now, it's a little bit difficult. This is why Man United are looking at 24, 25-year-olds, these type of players, because the environment at Man United is not where we want it to be. At the end of the day, and we want to build, but build right. You know what I mean? With the good foundations there to bring younger players into the squad. Absolutely. Christian, morning, Sal. Our league is so competitive that way we don't give youth a chance. They must go to Germany to show their class. I would love the players to go on loan. I really would love the players to go on loan. It'd be great if they could go on loan in the Premier League, but unfortunately, this is exactly what it is. Teams don't want to take a risk on young players. It is a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because we got to get in that Champions League, but we also got to think about developing the youth as well. I absolutely agree. I do think that some of these players need to go on loan. I do agree with that. However, what I would say to counter that, Man United can have a couple of youngsters on the bench and bring them on with 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go. When we're winning games, hopefully we are winning some games. And when we're winning games, and then they get that little bit of strength, that little bit of experience of men's football, that's what could happen. Sir Alex Ferguson said it, didn't he? He said it, that if you don't give youth a chance, they stagnate and they drift off into their bliss. He also said that youth players will give 100%. They will seldom let you down. This is exactly what Alex Ferguson said. And they don't. We can't totally dismiss it, but I agree. Some of the players, I think, like Chido Obi Martin, need to go on loan to Germany, for example, to France, to Portugal, wherever it is, and get some goals and prove themselves in these leagues, of course. Absolutely. By the way, Biek, the Manchester United signing, who went on loan to Lausanne, scored a goal the other day. So that is good news in regards to him. He's on loan at Lausanne, of course. Ellen, if he gets a new contract, it will probably only be for a year extension. It might be already in his contract that he's going to activate the year thing. I don't know, but I think it's a bad idea. João Gomes is a Premier League, and if we can get him for 30-40 million pounds, it would not be a bad deal. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think absolutely, Sam, I don't think it will be a bad idea. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think it will be a good idea. And then we move into the summer with Angelo Stiller. with Anderson being linked as well. We can bring in another midfielder. I agree, absolutely agree. I think João Gomes will be a great signing in January. I'll be incredibly happy with that. My biggest worry for Manchester United come January is obviously the AFCON. And the right-hand side of our pitch, the Imbuemo and the Ahmad are going on the AFCON, and so is Mazraoui going on AFCON. So that right-hand side of our pitch is a bit of a problem, and I do think we need to concentrate on that area of the pitch. Now, it does beg the question. What is going on with Kobbie Mainoo? What is going on with Xerxes? Will they still be at the football club in January? Look, I'm starting to believe that, you know what, we may loan them out or maybe cash in on them. I don't know. But what I would say is that on the 21st of December, when the AFCON does start, these players are going to get their opportunity, because there is the 21st of December to the 1st of January that we can't sign any players. So it's the 1st of January where we can sign some players. So they're going to get their opportunity. They have to shine when they play. They have to shine. I know it's short notice, but they're going to have to make a difference in this football team, and they're going to have to make sure that they do something to send a message, to ask the question of Ruben Amorim, of course. Cengiz, only 18, but I mean a much higher ceiling. Yeah, absolutely, Cengiz. You're absolutely spot on. He does have a higher ceiling than Conor Gallagher. But what I think Man United are looking at the moment, and listen, I'm a big fan of Bayoudi, by the way. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, absolutely world-class player in the future. What I think Ruben Amorim is trying to do now is bring in players that are set to play, ready, fit and ready to play in the team right now. Absolutely, Bayoudi has a higher ceiling than Gallagher. We know that Gallagher's reached his point. He's reached his pinnacle, in my opinion. So I think that, Gallagher coming in would be great. Look, but I would never be opposed to bringing in young players like Bayoudi. I would not be opposed to that. It'd be absolutely fantastic. We are linked to Bayoudi, by the way. We are interested in Bayoudi, absolutely. And we should be looking at these players. Absolutely, we should be looking at these players, these young players coming through, next generational players coming through the ranks, of course. Definitely. Big up, Cengiz. Great comments, my friend. Tybo, no way I would give Cass a new contract. Thanks for everything, but it's a new chapter and we have to move on from players that were part of our worst period in history. I have to agree, Tybo. I have to agree. I would not give him a new contract. Listen, guys. I think Alex Ferguson did it best, because Alex Ferguson, when he used to move players on over 30, there was only a few players in Alex Ferguson's tenure that he kept over 30. Obviously, Ryan Giggs, he brought Teddy Sheringham in as a bit of experience and stuff like that. But rarely would he keep players over 30. That was Alex Ferguson's philosophy. He would not do that. Now, we cannot keep holding on to players that are well past their best. He is past his best. We should have sold him 2 years ago. That is it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the reason that we keep having to substitute Casemiro is because he's knackered. There's no coincidence that we play well in the first half in these games, and then in the second half, we start declining, because these players are tired. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, in particular, Casemiro. This is why Casemiro keeps getting substituted, because he's tired. He's a fantastic player. He's a great player. He's our best CDM at the moment. But the problem is, we can't keep holding on to these players. We need to know when to move on. We definitely do. And I would move on from Casemiro, absolutely. I'd rather bring in Bayoudi, someone like that, who's a younger, fresher, fitter player than him. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and rather than just clinging on to this. I think it should be Casemiro's swan song. I think this should be his last season, absolutely. And I think we should move on from Casemiro, in my opinion. I really do think so. Gallagher, passion merchant. I don't think so. He's a good player. Sal, why people write off Gallagher? He is a good player. He's a good player, mate. People write him off because obviously it's the kind of thing. It's not a fashionable signing. It's not a stylish signing. You know what I mean? Like the name on the back of the shirt. Do you know what I mean? He would do a job for Man United, let me tell you that. And a lot of experts have spoken about Gallagher. He is a very good player. He's very steady, and he's what Man United need. And he's Premier League proven as well. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And I don't think he's a passion merchant. I think he's a good player. And we have to show respect to these players, who have been professional footballers for Chelsea, and Atletico Madrid and England. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Look, he's not the best player. I don't think he'll be the best midfielder that Man United could sign. Absolutely not by a long shot. But what it would do, it will give Man United an opportunity in as a stopgap in this team, as a loan deal. And in the summer, we can revisit it then, isn't it? At the end of the day. And you never know. I think it'd be a good signing for Man United. And that's what I think about that. But obviously, it's subjective, of course. Cengiz, what I mean by Gallagher can come and do a job, such and he's an upgrade to Ugarte, I suppose. He is an upgrade. He is an upgrade. I like Ugarte. I don't know what's happened with Ugarte. I don't know what happened to Ugarte. I remember a couple of years ago, we were singing the praises of Ugarte, wishing that we signed Ugarte. He had one of the best stats record in Europe in regards to CDM only a couple of years ago. I don't know what's happened to him. Even Ruben Amorim said that, you know, he's not the same player as he was. Why is that? What's going on with Ugarte? What happened there? I don't know. It's crazy. Ellen. Gallagher is a good midfielder and he is English. What's not to fancy? But honestly, time will tell. Time will tell. But one thing about Gallagher that he brings to the team, he will bring experience. And I think that's what Ruben Amorim is looking for at the moment. He will bring experience. He'll bring legs. He'll bring fitness into this team. And I think that's what Man United need at the moment. You know what I mean? And look, we're not saying that this is going to be the signing of the summer. Gallagher is going to be that guy. He's going to take us to the promised land. What Man United need to concentrate on this season is getting into that Champions League. We can get into that Champions League. Who knows what can happen in the future, guys? We'll bring in Stiller. We'll bring in Anderson. We'll bring in Wharton. Whoever it is, we'll bring them in. And you know what? But the most important thing, we have to be shrewd. We have to be clever and smart in the transfer window this January so that we give ourselves the best opportunity to get into the Champions League, in my opinion. And that's it. And I would say the same about Ruben Neves. I would say the same about, of course, Munier, of course, right back, of course. I would say the same about these players who will bring an element of experience and know-how into our team. Do you know what I mean? I would say. And I wouldn't dismiss anything at the moment. But we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day, guys. We are linked to Gallagher. We might even sign Gallagher on loan. Do you know what I mean? Atletico Madrid might be looking for a permanent deal. And that's the thing, isn't it? You know? Who will be your top signing, Sal, in January? I don't think Man United are going to make much business in January, in my opinion, but I would love Angelo Stiller. I think Angelo Stiller would be an absolute game-changing signing for Manchester United. But I'm looking at the AFCON. So I'm looking at the AFCON and I'm thinking Man United are going to be very lightweight on that right-hand side. So I'm looking at players that Man United could possibly bring in on loan. Do you know what I mean? And there are a number of players that we've been linked to. Obviously, I just spoke about Kubo. Of course, João Gomes. Another one, we got Paqueta. We've been loaned, linked with, of course. So I would like Man United to fix the attacking area, the right side of the attacking area. Yes, I would like Man United also to bring in the CDM. And as I said, I mean, I don't mind who we bring in the CDM as long as they've got an element of quality, maybe some experience as well. I wouldn't mind. And I'll leave it to Ruben Amorim to make that decision. Ephraim, Sal, do you think will be a problem even if we sign a midfielder if he is pairing with Bruno? Yes, I do think that. Ephraim, I think that is a big problem that Man United are having at the moment. The fact of the untouchable Bruno Fernandes, of course, that he will not be moved from that number 8 position unless he goes ill-disciplined again and moves around the pitch and stuff like that and ends up at left back and leaving the other midfielder isolated, of course, guys. I do believe that it is a problem. I do believe no matter who you get in this football team, they will struggle with Bruno next to them. Of course they will, because Bruno is not a number 8, and we know he's not a number 8. You know, he's no Paul Scholes at the end of the day, is he? He's an attacking midfielder. That's what he is by trade. And even that attacking midfielder, he's ill-disciplined even in the attacking midfield position. And this is the thing that we're talking about, isn't it? You know, absolutely. Tyberg. Vidic was a January signing, and what a signing. Absolutely, he was. I wish we had these type of signings. More the Balkans is a great place to search for great cheap talents. I agree. I absolutely agree. I don't know why we don't do it often enough, Tyberg. Absolutely. I don't know why we don't go to the likes of Ukraine and Serbia and places like that to find the next gem. You know, one thing about, I would put it into a category, right? I would look at Norway. I would look at the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Europe. And when I think about Eastern Europe, I think about CDMs and defenders and goalkeepers. You know what I mean? I think about that. And Sir Alex Ferguson used to do it. He loved signing defenders from Norway, you know, Ronny Johnsen and Henning-Berg, you know, and, you know, he loved doing that. And I don't see their problem in that. I think that there is characteristics about certain nations that they are better at certain positions. And I would say, yeah. And Nemanja Vidic would be, you know, if we found another Nemanja Vidic, I mean, goodness me. I do believe we got our own little Nemanja Vidic at the moment. I do believe we got De Ligt, who's fantastic. Another great place for defenders is Holland. I think De Ligt is been fantastic for us. One of the players of the season, in my opinion. Yeah, guys. But yeah, we should look in Balkans. Absolutely. We should be looking on the Eastern Bloc. Absolutely. Because there are bargains to be had. There are bargains to be had. I mean, we were linked to a couple of Russian players recently as well. That did, you know, at the end of the day, when we've ever been linked to Russian players. Last one was Andrei Kanchelskis. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So yeah, we've been linked to Russian players as well, which is interesting. I prefer Gomes over Gallagher. Gomes has a bit more class than Gallagher. I agree. I would like that better, Jengus. Rajas, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well, Rajas. Big up to you, Sal. Big up to you too. I hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Ellen, as soon as we get a couple of midfielders in, Kobe is gone. He haven't started a single Premier League match. I think he started in the horrible Grimsby match. Yes, he did. That is it. Something must be missing in his game. I think attitude. I think his head has been turned. Last season, there was the element of the contract negotiation debacle, wasn't there, in regards to he wants 200 grand a week. I mean, there's no coincidence that since then that his performances started dropping. Now, I do, however, think in the side and looking at things subjectively and looking at things from every single angle, I do think it's a little bit unfair to judge a player when they're thrown into the deep end. No matter if you're playing Grimsby, no matter if you're playing Leyton Orient, no matter if you're playing Scunthorpe United, right? No matter if you're playing these teams, if you're not match fit, it's very difficult just to be planted into a team against players who are match fit and expect to do a job, you know? So to get Kobe up to the level, and Ugarte, to be fair, and Xerxes, they're going to have to play a few games in a row to get up to scratch because they're not had enough football to suddenly say, boom, that's it. But that's football. And that's why football's a cruel game sometimes because it's unfair, but life's not fair. So what you got to do as a footballer, Kobe Mainoo, the one thing I remember about Kobe Mainoo, there's a couple of things. He had a great performance against Lyon last season, which is his last good performance for Man United, of course. But I watched the game against Brentford when he came on. And obviously, it wasn't always fault. Bruno Fernandes had a big part to play in it. I mean, Bruno Fernandes doesn't help anything. He's probably one of the main reasons we drew at the weekend, giving the ball away. But Mainoo gave away the ball against Brentford when he came on. And this is the thing that I'm talking about. This is the thing that when you come on that pitch, make something happen. Be the difference maker. Whether it's a crunch and tackle, a clearance off the line, a goal, an assist, whatever it is, a passage of play that you did, a 1-2. Give the manager something to think about. That's what you do. Give that. And this is exactly what I said about Rasmus. Exactly the same thing. I know you're not getting the ball in the box. I know you're not getting any chances. But sometimes grab that ball from the midfield, take that ball forward and bury it in the top corner. Do something like that. Even Danny Welbeck used to do things like that. Do you know what I mean? So you have to take responsibility for yourself and you can't feel sorry for yourself. You can't just go out in the pitch and make mistakes because it just adds weight to the narrative, doesn't it? And you're going to end up being sold, you know? I actually think Mainoo's a fantastic player. I do. I think he's a fantastic player. Got in the England squad last time, got to the Euros final with England. Fantastic player. But he's going to need a few games. Now, I would definitely, if we can't give him a few games, I would definitely send him on loan to Germany or to France or to wherever. And let him get some game time there, you know, because we can't stifle him. And we are stifling him at the moment. In my opinion, he's better than Bruno as a number 8. Without doubt. He's better than Bruno in the number 8 position. He should start in that number 8 position. Bruno should not. Bruno's cost us a lot this season. You may think he hasn't. A lot of people may think he hasn't. But Bruno has cost us this season. A lot. Even in that Tottenham game. We need a specialist midfielder in there. We're not going to downplay, have negative revisionism because at the end of the day, Mainoo has been a good player for Man United. He was a generational just a year ago. He was a generational. What's happened there is not, you know, is a number of things what's going on. And we can't just write him off like, oh, is he actually that good? No, he is good. He's good. He'll get in a lot of teams in Europe. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's a very good player, and we have to believe in our young players. Of course, guys. I think he needs more opportunities. I think Amram already made a decision on Mainoo, and he is honest. I support him fully. If something seems wrong around Mainoo, I could be wrong, but it is a strange situation, Ty, because we know how good Mainoo is. You know, we know what he's capable of. You remember the Wolves game last year where we drew, it was 3-3 and he got that ball and he twisted and turned and bent one in the corner. You remember the Lyon game last season as well. You know, he's a very, very good player. I actually believe that there's something going wrong around him. Something in regards to the contract situation. It might be a contract situation, playing time situation. Look, guys, what you have to remember, Tybal, right? He's a better player than Bruno in midfield, right? So how would you feel if Bruno's given stinker after stinker after stinker and he's not getting an opportunity? How would you feel about that? Do you know what I mean? it's harsh on Mainu, isn't it? He's obviously going to feel disheartened. He's obviously going to be. We're thinking about it on a human level here. He's obviously going to be disheartened. He's also going to be disappointed that he's not getting enough game time. And I think he's right in regards to that. I think he is a better midfielder than Bruno. I think Bruno does leave the midfield wide open. He has cost us a lot of goals this season. He is a little bit petulant. Mainu should play in that midfield. I actually think that. You know what I mean? And maybe, just maybe, when the AFCON starts, Mainu might play and Bruno might move into that number 10. Maybe that might happen. Who knows? Who knows, of course. Cengiz, I'm saying Bruno as Lille will take care of the cash in January. Long term, I think he'll be the business and just give us a fresh impulse in January. Absolutely, bruv. I don't think we'll do it, though, sadly. Absolutely. It'd be a great signing, my guy. Absolutely would. Ineos excuses all the time. Why not sign 1-8 in the summer? So we have until the summer unless we are watching what we are seeing. Big up, Cunha. This is Ineos. This is the Glazers for you, mate. Absolutely. Stephen, United should get Gomes for now and Anderson and still in summer. I agree with that. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Or is that a dreamland? I mean, you know what? I believe in miracles. I believe in you. Absolutely. We need a big squad. Look at City, Chelsea, and Liverpool squads. And look, guys, you know what? You know what, Stephen? Those teams are going to improve in January. Don't worry about that. They're going to sign some players in January. Don't you bet your bottom dollar they're going to improve in January. That's the thing. We can't lag behind. We're lagging behind already. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Good morning, Dave. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is blessed with you. Morning, Sal. This Gallagher links is really heating up. In your opinion, do you really see us getting him as a stopgap for the rest of the season? Also, he will need a partner in Bruno midfield. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I do think it's heating up. There is a lot of rumours around Gallagher, but it does depend on Atletico Madrid, whether they're going to loan into us or want a permanent deal, of course. I would think if we can get him on loan, it'd be a great stopgap until the summer. If we sign him, I don't think it'll be the end of the world because then we're going to go after Stiller, Anderson in the summer, of course. Now, in my opinion, I don't think we should sign Conor Gallagher. I think we should loan him. And then in the summer, purchase Stiller and Anderson or Stiller and Wharton. One of those two. I would think that'd be absolutely fantastic. And look, if Man United are going to spend 200 million, you might as well spend it on fixing that midfield, right? And if we're going to sell some players, we're going to have some money as well to invest in the wing back positions as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Morning, Benny. What's going on, you legend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Absolutely. Sal, are you the only person? No, because there's air conditioning in this country, Tyborg, everywhere you go. So wherever you go inside, it's cold. Let me tell you that it's cold in the UAE wherever you go inside. But when you go outside, it hits you with a bat, like a bat. It hits you. But yeah, in my apartment, everywhere we go, we have air conditioning, so you don't really feel it. Unfortunately, it's not like when I go back to Italy. It's boiling in Italy sometimes in the summer. They have no air conditioning. It's mad. Cengiz, we need someone to bring in January to bolster our midfield. If Casemiro gets injured, we're in big trouble. I agree with that, my friend. Absolutely, we are. Absolutely, we are in big trouble if that is the case. Dave, January or summer window, which one is important or to focus on, be realistic to get good profiles? Both of them, mate. Both of them. I think Man United should use the January transfer window to look for players that are quality, but also a stopgap kind of thing. So we have to be shrewd. We have to be clever, like a Ruben Neves, a João Gomes, something like that. João Gomes wouldn't necessarily be a stopgap. I think João Gomes is a quality player. He's a player that you would sign in the summer. I actually believe that. João Gomes, I don't think would be a stopgap. I think it'd be a fantastic signing. But if we got the likes of Conor Gallagher or Ruben Neves into this football team on loan, I think that would be good for Man United. And then in the summer, that would be the most important window, obviously. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're in the Champions League. Let's hope so. Of course, absolutely. Big up, Dave. Benny. As we are linked to Angel Gomes, sorry, Sal, a bit late this morning. Not Angel Gomes, mate. Angel Gomes, it doesn't. No, not the ex-Man United. We're talking about João Gomes, who plays for Wolves, my guy. Absolutely. Kubo, how much would it cost? About 30 million, mate. About 30 to 40 million euros, my guy. Absolutely. Sociedad are looking to offload some players. Well, get some money in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Cengiz, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Angel Gomes is a good player, but he's gone a little bit quiet recently, hasn't he, Angel Gomes, to be honest with you? I remember watching games in the underage small, but absolutely quality on the ball. I remember watching Gomes. Yeah, he's absolutely quality. I mean, and he could be nurtured under Ruben Amorim, of course. Obviously, form a good relationship back with Cunha, of course. No, it would be a great signing. It would be a good signing for Man United. In January, it would be a great signing. It wouldn't be my first signing in the summer, however. My signing in the summer, I want, obviously, Stiller. I want Anderson, Wharton. I want those players right there. That's what I want in the summer. I don't want any João Gomes in the summer. But João Gomes in the winter, in January, would be a fantastic signing, in my opinion. Absolutely. Plan was to use them in the Carabao Cup is my guess, but they forgot to show up, and now they don't have the matches to play. Well, a lot of them forgot to show up. Well, I don't think it was Maine's fault we lost to Grimsby. It was Onana's fault we lost to Grimsby at the end of the day. But Bruno hasn't showed up all season. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he had a couple of good passes, a couple of good crosses. That's about it. That's a little bit unfair, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, I know that Mainu is a fantastic player. Bruno's playing because he's Portuguese, and that's it. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry, but his petulance against Fulham cost us dearly. You know what I mean? And I would say that it's a little bit unfair. I like to look at things from all sides of the spectrum. It's a little bit unfair to judge Kobbie Mainoo when he hasn't had a run in the team like Bruno. And Bruno's had stinker after stinker after stinker and still gets in the team. We have to remember that. That's unfair. That's not good management, right? And I know a guy who supports Ruben Amorim. Keeping Bruno in the team just for the sake of it, because he's Portuguese and he's older and he's captain, it's not good management. It's favoritism. And to be honest with you, I understand why Mainoo and that played well. The only reason we lost to Grimsby was Onana. We know why. Onana threw the game. That's what happens. And if you give any team, even if they're in the lower divisions, any little leeway, if you give them an inch, they would take a mile. You know what I mean? These teams are professional footballers. You know, I worked in League One. I know how good these teams are. They're not that bad, guys. Absolutely. They're not that bad. Teams don't get slapped up anymore. So there you go. Big up Benny, big up everyone, of course, big up Jengus, of course, good to see Jengus back. Should Kobbie mainly play in an 8 role and then in the 10 role? Kobbie should play in the number 8 role for me. How's it going, Maz? Good to see you, Mars. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up Arman. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again, my guy. Bruno was a passenger against Spurs. Shane Kobbie was injured. He may have got his... Yeah, he probably would have, to be honest with you. But Jengus, I want to... Look, how many times has Bruno been a passenger this season? Right, I actually think if we had Bruno in the number 10 and we had a proper midfielder, maybe Kobbie Mainoo in there, Man United would be in a bit better position probably right now. Obviously, revisionism and hypothetically speaking, obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing and all that. You know, what I would say is that, yeah, look, Man United need a specialist number 8. Bruno is not a specialist number 8. Rooney was not a good number 8. Rooney went down into midfield. If you remember in his latter stages in his career at Man United, he went into midfield, didn't he? Weren't playing well, didn't play well. He's got the quality, he's got the skill. He's a world-class player, but he's not a midfielder. And that's exactly the same with Bruno, in my opinion. He's not a midfielder. I was screaming that to the rooftop, and we have been exposed in numerous amounts of times because he's not a midfielder. Man City, he gave it away the ball for the first goal, didn't he? Missed the penalty against Fulham, gave away the ball in the build-up to that Fulham goal, of course. Gave away the ball in the build-up to the Tottenham goal against Tottenham goal at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about. You know, and we have to be realistic and objective in these things, of course. See you later, everyone. Take it easy, Ellen. Big up. Morning, Sal. It's crazy that every week we are linked to 2-3 players. Yeah, that's the way Man United are, isn't it? I do believe it's a good thing, to be honest with you, that we have a number of players that we're being linked to that could be work as a contingency plan, that if we don't get one, we get the other one. If we don't get that one, we get the other one, rather than just going for one player, not getting that player, and not having a contingency plan. One thing I am happy about is this, because at the end of the day, whether we have 50 to 100 players linked to Manchester United over the next couple of months, at least we're linked to quality players, because every single player that we're mentioning has their own set of skills. Sound like Liam Neeson, don't I? There's their own set of skills, and absolutely, and they are all going to contribute to Man United and improve Man United, in my opinion. So, yeah, look, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. For example, João Gomes tonight, obviously. Thomas Munia as a lone right back. Wouldn't be a bad move, to be honest with you, bringing in that experience at Man United, in my opinion. I will look at Xavier Schrager of RB Leipzig, midfielder with fighting spirit, 28 years old. Wouldn't cost that much. Do you know what? Funny you should say that. Obviously, I was looking at that player the other day. Funny you should say that, Tyborg. Yeah, I agree with Tyborg here. You've got to look at bargains. Like, you know, now when I think of the Bundesliga, right, there's a huge talent pool in the Bundesliga, a talent pool that is probably one of the best in Europe at the moment. There are so many players coming through the ranks in the Bundesliga. And obviously, we are going to be linked to a lot of those players. We've been linked to a lot of Dortmund players recently as well. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So the likes of, obviously, Schlager is a good player. Man United, obviously, should look in the Bundesliga. Teams in the Bundesliga, i.e., not just the Dortmunds and obviously the Bayern Munichs and the Leverkusens. We got to look at obviously the teams are below that. You know what I mean? We got to look at the teams below in the Bundesliga of girls, the Bochums, the Kaiserslauterns, of course, guys, the Duisburgs, you know what I mean? The Hertha Berlins and teams like that, of course, guys. Absolutely. I might be mentioning some second division teams there. But yeah, I remember Kaiserslautern were in the Champions League many, many years ago. But yeah, look, you know, yeah, we need to look at these things. It's been shrewd, isn't it? It's been clever in the market. You can find quality all around Europe at bargain prices. You can definitely do that. And it's been clever around Europe. And you have to, like, I would much rather us sign a player than sign no one at all, of course. Ruben can't bench Bruno because Bruno has moments in games, even if he plays shit. It doesn't matter about moments, Cunha, because at the end of the day, moments don't mean anything in football. Look at Cunha when he played for Liverpool. You know, he had moments, but remove him from the team, it fixed the team. You know, you got to think about the team. You can remove a player that has the best stats in the world in the team, but that player can actually have a bad effect on the team in a whole, in the balance. For example, you might not get a Bruno goal against Spurs at the weekend. For example, Bruno might not be good. Like, Bruno might not play against Spurs at the weekend, but Man United win 2-0. You know why? Because Man United were balanced. You know what I mean? Like, you can remove a player just because they're Bruno doesn't mean that you should keep him in the team just because he has moments. We're better as a team. We're better with balance. You have more opportunity winning games with balance than people who shoot all the time. You know what I mean? No. Because obviously he's going to get some good moments when he shoots all the time, when he crosses all the time, when he takes things upon himself all the time. So you've got to think about the balance of the team. Football doesn't deal with absolutes. You know, at the end of the day, move that player, we're not going to get relegated. Just like players like Ian Wright said last season, it's not a fact. That's not a fact. When you remove a player, it means that, you know what, you remove a player, you fix a player, you fix the balance of the team. And maybe, just maybe, I remember we played against Barnsley a year ago and we played probably our best game in years and we won 7-0, 7-1. You know, so at the end of the day, you got to look at the balance of the team. You got to look at the shape of the team. And that's what I think we should do. I'm fed up with fans saying that Manu hasn't shown up this season when he's only given 10 to 15 minutes free. It's crazy. Yeah, look. At the end of the day, I like to look at things from the balance point of view. But my opinion is, right, I do believe that Manu needs more game time. I think he's a better number 8 than Bruno. I think he should play in a number 8 position. And not for 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. He should have a run of games because that is what Manu is. I am not forgetful. I know how good Manu is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I know how good he was. I know how many times he saved Man United. I know how good he was for England. I know how the English, we were screaming for get Manu into that side. Do you know what I mean? Calling in the generational player, the golden boy of his generation, of course. And, you know, it's very harsh to be throwing players under the bus just because, you know what? Bruno is a favourite. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And, look, hopefully during the AFCON, he will get more opportunity. That's all I'll say about it. Absolutely, Mark. Have to make January sign, make statement of Sir Jim. Big up, give it, Kevin. Big up, Kevin. Big up, Tyborg. Bruno has been awful this season, but I don't blame him. It's not just his position. Amram should play him up front on the bench, him for play for. I agree, Tyborg. I actually even believe, Tyborg, that he's even ill-disciplined in the number 10 position. He has cost us a lot of times even in that position. He's very ill-disciplined in his position. And I think that Man United, the problem with Man United over the last few years, not just with Bruno, with other players as well, we are very, very nostalgic. We are very, very clingy with certain players, and we don't know when to move them on. When you're thinking about teams like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and teams of that ilk, they would have moved on Bruno by now. You know, they would have moved on Bruno by now. You know, at the end of the day, we would have cashed in on him in the summer. Definitely. 100 million, take that. Thank you very much. Sayonara, Tara. And that's what we should have done, you know. Favoritism is quite obvious favoritism. It's like Dalot, isn't it? It's favoritism. We know Dalot's an awful player, right? I don't care about his professionalism. He turns up early for training, etc. He's not a good player. And I feel that players such as Manu, players as Xerxes, obviously it shouldn't do, but it obviously gets to them. It obviously affects them, doesn't it? You know, that they feel unjustly, they feel that this is not justice. I'm not getting enough game time. He's playing poorly. How comes I don't get 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here? And it's quite obvious that Manu will feel downbeat. Now, Manu may come in and Mainoo may do badly. Look, I agree that he has done badly a couple of times he's come on. I agree with that. But how do you expect any kind of player to get into the rhythm of the game when they're only playing every 15 games? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you can't expect that. He needs to run in the team. Mainoo wasn't a generational player for no reason. Mainoo didn't become an England international for no reason. Mainoo's a very, very good player, and we have to believe in him and, give him some chances. That's it. Big up, Tybo. Great comment, my guy. Big up. Samuel, how about signing Vanderson from Man ago replace Dalot? I've spoken about Vanderson in the summer. I said, Samuel, that Man United should sign Vanderson. In summer, people know Stretford Post. No, he's on Man United's radar. Whether we sign him or not, I don't know. But he would be a perfect signing for Man United, absolutely. Benny, I'd like to see more Mainoo in the team, but I fear Amram has already made his decision on Mainoo. But we have to trust them. We have to trust the manager, Benny. We have to. I'm thinking purely based on the Manchester United, though. Manchester United will be better with Mainoo in the midfield than Bruno. And that I just think that is almost a fact. I just think that. But I trust Ruben Amorim. I'm not going to turn against Ruben Amorim. As long as we're winning games, I don't mind. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. I feel that we are an accident waiting to happen, though, in that midfield. And we have been there already this season. We were outwitted at the weekend against Spurs because of the midfield. We put the defense under pressure because of the midfield. Casemiro's tired. He can't do it on his own, especially when Bruno Fernandes is all over the place and ill-disciplined. I just think that if there's one stumbling block, the piece of meat stuck in your teeth you can't get out, it's Bruno Fernandes. Do you know what I mean? And in that midfield position. Because I think we'll be better with a specialised midfielder in there. It's my opinion. You know what I mean? Ephraim. Sal, Bruno is not disciplined enough to play as a midfielder, even as Ten Hag. He is not disciplined enough. Even as a number 10, I agree, and we have to be fair here and objective. I already see Cunha is so much underrated from the fans. Exactly, he is doing a fantastic job, but it's nothing Hollywoodish and something fans don't appreciate. You know what it is, Tybo? We live in a generation. You're from a similar generation to me, so Tybo, that what it is that people want the flashy superstar. Who said it? Football is not just about attacking, doing things on your own, getting the glory. It's also tracking back as well, running back as well. You know what I mean? Many managers, many great players of the past have said that. It's also about tracking back and going back as well. And that is what Cunha does. Cunha does the dirty work. You know what I mean? Cunha does the dirty work. And I think he's a great player. I really do. Yeah, it's difficult to come into a club like Man United. Of course it is. It's completely different to Wolverhampton Wanderers, even Atletico Madrid, who he's played for. The thing is that people look at things from a headlines perspective, the headline sort of thing. Here's the headlines. It's like the Bruno thing, isn't it? It's like the Bruno thing where Bruno gets the headlines, but all-round game in regards to the balance of the side and the team in general, he doesn't do well for the team. Cunha does well for the team, and I respect Cunha, and I think he's going to be a great player going forward. There's a reason I called him a captain material. A couple of weeks ago, I said he's got the potential to be a captain. The way he is, his mentality. It's not just about the play. It's not just about goals and assists. It's about what he does for this team. I absolutely agree with Tybo here. Absolutely. Great comment. Are you looking forward to any new movies on TV shows? I'm looking forward to what is it? Meet the Parents 4. I'm looking forward to that. There's a couple of things. I've forgotten what I'm looking forward to, actually, man. There's a few things I am looking forward to, a few films that are coming out soon. I've forgotten the names, but yeah, I'm looking for the Ben Stiller one, not Angelo Stiller, the Ben Stiller film, absolutely. But Angelo Stiller he can play different roles, just like Ben Stiller, of course. But look, I like my comedy, so yeah, looking forward to that, of course. I'm looking forward to a couple of things that have been coming out. Netflix has gone pretty dead lately, to be fair, compared to when they came out. Of course, guys, absolutely. Tyborg, Sal, who was the one player that you wish never left United? I can say right now it's Beckham for me. It took me months to get over it. Yeah. Beckham was one, definitely. I thought he had another 5 years in him, easily. I think even keeping him in the squad wouldn't have been a bad thing. There is obviously the theory that if Beckham didn't leave the club, we wouldn't have signed Cristiano Ronaldo because we signed Cristiano Ronaldo that summer. I don't necessarily think that's true because when Cristiano Ronaldo came to Man United, he acted as a bench player initially, didn't he? So I think Beckham staying, having Cristiano Ronaldo next to him would have been fine. I think it would have been brilliant. Alex Ferguson had a thing for Beckham, didn't he? I mean, there was a love-hate relationship there, wasn't there? And I do believe that Beckham was slightly underrated and underappreciated at Man United. And in general in world football, there's still Man United fans out there who say Beckham was overrated. Criminal. Absolutely criminal. They don't know what they're talking about. But I think that Beckham at Man United should have stayed longer. It's just like when Scholes, he came back, didn't it? And you automatically saw the quality there. When Scholes came back into the team, you automatically saw the quality in his play. You know, I honestly, Tyborg, no, this may set way out there, guys. I honestly feel, guys, right now, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, if Beckham got himself fit, I know he's 50. If Beckham got himself fit, he would do a better job on that right-hand side right now. In a creator, get him the ball, cross the ball. Cross the ball. I guarantee you, Sesko would have more goals right now. I guarantee you this. Sal, as you know, myself and yourself sign off the same sheet regards to Bruno. Yes, brother. Absolutely, we do. Sing on the same hymn sheet. Absolutely, mate. Cengiz, Mainu would certainly win more tackles and second balls than Bruno. I don't think Bruno won a single tackle against Spurs. I mean, there was that period in the game where he kept running into trouble, and he put us into trouble. And when you keep creating, it's called passages of play. So when you create a passage of play, there could be a negative passage of play or there could be a positive passage of play. He kept running into problems and he created positive passages of play for Tottenham. And they got momentum from that, you know? Doing the simple things correctly is so underrated, in my opinion, Cengiz. It really is. Mars, do we know how long Sesko's gone? Not yet. Not yet. I don't think long, though. Hopefully not, anyway. Bruno, a great thing is that the international break came at the right time for Sesko, didn't it? Bruno always looking for the Hollywood pass. He's trying to be the hero. That's what it is. And that's the problem. I mean, we're not dumb here. You know what I mean? We know, you know, and I think many people who are not player FC know that Bruno has an adverse effect on the team, on the team in general, on the shape, especially in midfield, right? And look, playing him in number 10, okay, play him in number 10, but don't play him in that number 8 position because the midfield is the engine of the team. It's what everything goes through, whether it's the defense, whether it's the attack, it's the midfield. It's what you have to have more than anything. You know what I mean? You can sacrifice a couple of weak players here and there. But as you know, even back in the day when Man United, we may have a couple of weak defenders here and there, you know what I mean? Players out of position. We had a strong midfield. We had a foundation there. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Mark, my last comment on Mainu. Imagine coming into work every day knowing you are going to get the opportunity to show your quality. It's soul-destroying. That's Mainu and Xerxes lived it. Yeah, I agree with that with Mark. I agree. Because what you have to think about is that exactly what Mark said there. You have to think about things on a human level. I mean, we can all say, like, we would do this, we would do that, we would do that. And you know what? You know, at the end of the day, we can't judge people on that. We have to say that if you walk into work and you know you're the hardest worker in the pack, you know you do everything. You know you unlock all the doors. You wake up, you turn up at work in the morning, you do the unlock. Like when I used to work in security. And I used to do the unlock. Right? I used to come into work, grab the keys early, come early for everyone else so they can leave and do the unlock in the hospital. Right? And I said, it's hard work because you have to, it's a big hospital and you do all the unlocks and this and that and unlock all the doors from one side, mile length. And imagine you do that every single day. Yet there's people coming late, right? Coming late to work and want to leave early before you. Right? That's the kind of feeling that you would get. And that's probably the kind of feeling that Kobe Mainu gets. You know what I mean? And it's not a good feeling. It is soul-destroying, Mark. It is soul-destroying. I agree with that. It is. At the end, you have to think of things on a human level. We can ignore it and dismiss it, but it's a fact. You know? Kevin, Benjamin Sesko, I need a new update injury, Sal. Big up, Kevin. It's all right. Don't worry. He's not that bad. But we're going to find out sooner or later, of course. It's international break. Man United are very hush-hush with things these days. They're very hush-hush, even with injuries. FN Sal, did you hear Carragher saying Pep achievement is Carragher's an idiot. Carragher's an idiot. To say that about Alex Ferguson, who built multiple teams, who won the league and a double and a treble with kids, who didn't have an endless pot of money, right? To say that Pep Guardiola is better than Alex Ferguson is absolutely. It's like saying that a Ford Escort's better than a Ferrari. Yeah, Pep's good in a very weak era of Premier League football. But he's not Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson could win with Gibson and Fletcher in the centre-backs. Pep Guardiola can't do that. Pep Guardiola loses one player, it's all hell breaks loose. You know what I mean? Recency biased. It's crazy. Now, I expect nothing less from Carragher. I expect nothing less from him. Sir Alex Ferguson has cost Carragher and his colleagues a lot of pain over the years. Of course, he's going to be very, very biased in regards to that. He hates Man United. That's the way it is. And I expect nothing less. But that's an unfair opinion. That's ridiculous opinion, a crazy opinion from someone who's speaking from bitterness and not logic. Absolutely. Big up, Ephraim. That's releasing next year. Big up. Gab. Big up, Gab. If Mainoo was playing well and playing in his strength, I doubt Amram would leave him on the bench. If Mainoo was in the City, it'd be learn. Let's be real here. No sentiments. Mainoo hasn't had a chance to play well. There is favouritism here. You have to admit it. And I'm a supporter of Ruben Amorim. There is favouritism here. Mainoo hasn't had a chance to play well. Is Bruno playing well? He's not. Yeah, at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, you can't say if Mainoo's playing well, he will get in the team when Bruno's been shit all season. You can't say that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, why is it okay for some players to play poorly, but some players not even to get an opportunity to play poorly? Get 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what the point we're making. There is favoritism. He's Portuguese. It's favoritism. It's favoritism. Don't piss on me, tell me it's raining, because it's not true. It's favoritism. And that's the only stumbling block I would give to Ruben Amorim. This is why he plays Dalot. This is the thing. And it is favoritism. And we can't sugarcoat it any other way. As a supporter of Ruben Amorim, I will call out his flaws as I do. I won't be completely manager at FC. I'm not extreme in my opinions. I will call it in the middle. I will say, look, Mainoo hasn't had an opportunity to perform well in the first team. At the end of the day, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here is not going to do you any good. You need consistency. You need a good run of games. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Absolutely. Mark Van Nistelrooy was a player I wish that never left us. Great goal scorer. Big up. Absolutely. Ephraim, it just shows you how biased and deluded Carragher is. It's ridiculous, mate. I mean, what happened to fair, balanced opinion, guys? What happened to that? Absolutely. Whatever happened to fair, balanced opinion, guys? Absolutely. Tyborg, let's not forget Sir Alex Ferguson's achievements with Aberdeen. A bad manager wouldn't be able to do that. Pep wouldn't be able to do that. Even Jose Mourinho has achieved more, than what Pep has, because he done it at Porto. He done it at Porto. You can't dismiss it, guys. Dave, Sal, is the supposed news that we're not making any signings in January true? I'm saying no, it's not true. No one knows. The one thing I'm certain about is Man United are linked to players in January. This is a news coming from Sky Sports, so obviously they're going to be negative about Man United. Whenever they get an opportunity to be negative about Man United, they're negative about Man United. That's what they do. That's their prerogative. That's what they do at the end of the day. Guys, I want to thank everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, I could be live later on guys. So don't forget to join me for all my shows. Don't forget to put your notifications on. I will put messages on my posts on YouTube whenever I go live, whether it's someone else's channel, my channel, whatever. Don't forget to join me. Put your notifications on. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like. We need 50 likes, guys. Don't forget. Let's get us to 50 likes, guys. Absolutely. And guys, and let me just read this comment for Tyler. Pep had Barcelona buying a City managing. I would do it. Yeah, absolutely. My grandma would win at them clubs. And people forget, we built that Barcelona team. Nah, no, he didn't. Frank Rijkaard built that team, not him. And that's the thing. He's only done things with cash flow. And he didn't win the Champions League with Bayern Munich, did he? You know what I mean? Company's doing better than him. There we are. Thank you so much, Tybo. Big up everyone in the stream. Really appreciate you. Don't forget to smash a like. Let's get to 50 likes before the end of this, before the end of today, guys. Really appreciate you all. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, of course. I will be back later. Keep your notifications on when I go live, of course. Some big ones coming up. Take it easy, guys. Peace.